Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into Universe of Chinese. Let's continue our Xi's Quotes special edition. It's end of 2023 and a lot is happening in a global thing, right? Two wars and this conflict of US-China. Not exactly conflict, it's called decoupling and then de-risking, right? Things happening between the two countries. So a lot of the passing away of the former premier Li Keqiang became news, and so I think it's a good time to talk about Xi's quotes, like the thought leader and the everything leader in China. Okay, today he is about his speech on the media committee. So there are such meetings between CCP, the government, with the media apparatus. And back in 2016, I guess he's toward the end of his first term, the first 5 years, that he was talking to the media to say that your job is about so and so. Okay, 党和政府主办的媒体是 Okay, so he is trying to define the job or the main purpose, the mission statement for media. But the media is not every media, is 党和政府主办的 media. Okay, 党 is CCP, 和 is N, right? And 政府 is government. So because government itself is led by 党. So basically when he talked about 党和政府, basically it's 党主办, meaning they founded and they operated. So such media, basically state-owned, right? State-owned or CCP governed, not governed, but owned and operated by CCP. Such media 是 are, like collectively, there are many of them. 党和政府的宣传阵地 again, 党和政府 pair together. Both the CCP and the government, they are almost like merging into. I mean, even if there's an end, the boundary between the two is really blurry, right? And 的宣传阵地 的 is similarly to apostrophe s, meaning the ownership or the possessive of the previously mentioned. It's 党和政府. Theirs. Okay, 宣传阵地. 宣传 is propaganda. He just placed that. I'm not sure if Biden or Trump ever talked about the media are about propaganda. If they ever highlight the functioning of media as propaganda war, if they do that. But here, Xi honestly just say it's a propaganda. It's a propaganda wartime, and use this 阵地 from war lingo about the trench line. Like that's your defense, I guess. That's your defense line. The 阵地, right? You're going to charge over your enemy from there and also defend your own position from there. So that's 阵地 trench line, and that's the propaganda. That's the place where propaganda is going to hold its line. So that's the media's mission. And here's a conclusion. Therefore, because you have such a mission, you're owned and operated by CCP and the government, and you have this mission to be the propaganda machine. Therefore, you must carry the last name of CCP. 必须姓党. Okay, 姓 means carry the family name. So your family name is that. So that's our Chinese way of expressing you're owned by me. You carry my last name, meaning you're my offspring. I fathered or mothered you. Therefore, you have to follow me. Okay, so that's a Chinese imply, because this familial relationship in China, it's very strong. Everybody understand. If you sing if you carry somebody's last name, like that's without saying, that's the context. Everybody understands that obligation you have toward that last name. You have to, supposed to glorify that last name in your lifetime. Okay, so he was talking about the logic. You're owned by me. You have to do your propaganda. Therefore, you carry my last name. All right, so that's the 3 sentence. I mean, not sentence, but this is in 1 sentence, but 3 parts. So each segment, I pick out one main character to dive in a little bit of, because this is my part to connect to my ancestral language root. The language I learned, I was born into simplified Chinese language. That was, I guess out of the necessity as well to increase the literacy level in China, so that it's easier to learn and for kids to master, right? But to gain a deeper understanding of why such character is written in such a way, I go one step further to look at the ancient way of expressing it, try to figure out what's the logic over there, what's the original intention put in there by the language speakers. So since we're talking about a media, right? So mei, ti means body, means the whole body of them. So basically means a collective of them. So mei, media is the main meaning. Okay. And you can see, right? Mei, ti, media. Almost like a sound translation as well, right? Because it's media. Therefore, Chinese, somebody translate it as mei. But mei in the Chinese original context means matchmaking. So I don't know media actually have a matchmaking function, but that's the, somebody put meiti as the correspondence of English concept of media. So this matchmaking original intention, I guess later on in my mind, when I see meiti, I immediately think about media. I ignore the original matchmaking meaning of mei by itself. But okay, matchmaking comes with the female figure on the left side. That's Chinese female, like a gender specific sign. It got hips, it got a folded hand in the front, means submissiveness of female. That's the social expectation back then. And then the right side is tree symbol. The upward turning, downward turning arches. This means canopy. This means root, right? Connected by a trunk, turned into root. That's a generic tree symbol. And then on the top of the tree, something sweet. So this something sweet is expressed by the mouth symbol. This kind of box thing with up tilted turned corner is the mouth symbol with something held in the mouth. So imagine ancient times, they don't really have candies. I guess they have their formal candies like sugar cane. So sweet flavor was and is still preferred by humans, and holding something sweet in the mouth for a long time. By that behavior, we can infer back that flavor in the mouth long held is sweetness. So something sweet growing on the tree, that means the fruit of that tree. And according to scholars, this character originally means the plum, the fruit of the plum. Plum means plum tree, right? But we as a consumer, how we relate to a tree by eating their fruit. So plum eventually means the fruit itself, even if it started as a tree. Okay, so the plum tree eventually got, I guess, something happened to the plum tree that people just extract that to mean anything. Okay, just like Chinese have this zhi character, it's a variable, like in mathematically a variable x, it can mean anything. This mo carried a similar function. When we say mo mo means so and so or somebody, or whose face, right? Or what's the face? It's similar in Chinese, like without the meaning, naming specifically who that is or what that is. We just use mo. And this character came with its own subcontext, almost like, especially when you are trying to criticizing somebody, you try to not to name that person you're criticizing, especially shared in public, right? So we just use mo. And then everybody in the context who know would know, who you're not supposed to know wouldn't know, right? So when you use mo, people are really in it, know who you're pointing to. So that's the function of mo. So it becomes like a variable. It's non-specified, almost like English certain. So 某女 becomes 美. 某女 means a certain girl, and this 女 specifically means a married girl. So 某女 means without naming the specific, there is some girl for you. So I guess that's the original matchmaking thing. So they're just saying some girl, so and so that have this quality. Maybe their family doing this business are interested, something like that. So that's matchmaking, and the matchmaking body then becomes the media concept. I guess matchmaking is probably comes with the media's other function, which is profitable. Even if media, state-owned media could be non-profitable, right? Because they're funded by the government. They are the propaganda machine. The government will fund them, but media may have another function that's for profit. And when they do this matchmaking thing, which is connecting their audience with whoever wants to place the ad there, the brands over there, then they are doing this matchmaking thing. So media, I guess, if somebody translated with such intention as the matchmaker of contemporary, of our eyeballs to whatever who want to send a message to your eyeball. That's 媒体 Chinese. Okay, and here I want to point out a 阵地, transcribe. So how Chinese express this war lingo. It came with this high rising stacked up structure. That means it's a cliff, because it's something stacked up. You cannot easily scale up it. So it's it in itself looks like a trench, right? You dig a hole in the ground, or something protective of you. You're not directly in contact with the enemy. You're kind of protected within this border that's high rises and it's hard to climb over. And then the right side is the vehicle. Vehicle back then expressed by this spoke or wheel structure. This, you look at it as if it's oval shape, but because it's in the language, it could get distorted. It got squashed, become flatter, but originally it should be this perfect wheel circle shape, right? But here is oval shape with this only this cross in it to signify, well, there are spokes in it, and then it's sitting through this axle with two stoppers on the end. I mean, you have to prevent the wheel from falling from the axle. So that's a visual representation of what vehicles' most basic mechanical structure out there. I mean them. I think this is a language that we, even if we don't understand what that is, just looking at the structure, we can sort of figure out what that thing is. So it's a human invented tool with wheels. Okay, so in ancient times, wheels or chariot are wartime. It's kind of served like a tank back then, right? If you think about it, because it's bigger, it has more momentum, and people standing on the chariot, standing higher, can see far further, and they are probably more likely the commanders of that troop. So therefore, this chariot plus this, vertically stacked up cliff structure together means wartime. The war formation. So we all know the art of war from China, right? And that comes to the tactical level, but in that book talks a lot about strategies, right? So this zhen is talking about the formation of how you're going to place your resources on the ground. How are you going to spatially position them? And also, I guess, temporally, like sequentially, like move which one first and then the next. So that's zhen. That's in contemporary, we also translate it as array. So it's like spatial placement of things applied in wartime. Okay, so that's 阵地 French line. And then 必须姓党. Okay, this 党 came from the black inside and then the admire. Admire black. Wow. Okay. Admire came from this big arch thing with a needle, means puncturing through, going through some space, because it has this needle thing on the top. And then this two kind of this shape thing means spreading the word, right? Means you're splitting through the space that this airflow is separated by this force. So you're kind of going forward, like in that direction. And then this is this boxy thing is a mouse symbol with active corner. So that means somebody holding some view that's kind of a puncturing through the air and spread word. That's a Chinese visual way to represent some well-spoken speaker, orator, I guess Chinese language from the beginning, admire, who hold the language, who can speak eloquently. And that speaking action of this, as if it's, with the mouth, coming from the mouth, as if a puncturing through the air, spread the word. And then that's how you create this trend, right? Almost like an influencer definition right there. Like that what is our today's influencer's definition. Like you speak. Everybody is platformed on one of the social media and you speak just like me, right? I'm here speaking about the Chinese language and then hopefully puncturing through a little bit and get some attention, get somebody hear about my message and have this spread out structure. So that's admire. I guess that's or influence or trend. And then at the bottom is the language, the character icon for black. And there are two interpretations, but the show is becoming too long. I'm just telling you, this is black. They're coming from two fire symbol at the bottom. This is fire, two fires burning, and on the top, you can regard it as a type of container. And we all can imagine the charcoals burned up at the bottom of the container. It's going to be black. So that black color comes from everyday life, cooking experience. And this admiring or influencing or black influence. Oh my God, look at that. This black influence then become the party definition. And actually, party definition, this Dang in ancient times was regarded somebody who are dissonant, who are not agreeing with the current regime, who are forming this black influence somewhere. I mean, black, of course, from the perspective from the ruling party, right? Whoever is speaking otherwise are this black influences somewhere. So they're influencing, they're forming their circle, their people trying to get hold of the power, whoever are in power, right? So this Dang originally was regarded as a threat to the governing body. So it has a bad rap until CCP carried the Dang with it. Then they become the legit. They used to be this black influence, a local force, and then came into power. They become the legal, legit force, supposedly, right? So that's Dang. And 党媒姓党 is a summary of this because you're owned and operated by CCP, therefore you carry the last name of CCP. And basically this is, obvious of the media in China are owned and operated by government. Therefore, coming from that is propaganda. Whatever people's voice that you want to put out there are going to be blocked because there's no way you can compete with the CCP funded media. There's just simply no way. And so this, on the other hand, right, media who are not owned and operated by CCP, their voice are very limited. And I'm showing you that. All right, cash into the currency of thinking about, well, what did I whistle using that today?